Hello, hello, hello. Happy belated 4th of July or Canada Day or whatever. I'm Canadian, so for me, it's Happy Canada Day. But I know 4th of July is a big deal too. So, any American viewers that check this out, Happy Canada Day to you. Sorry I'm a bit late. I was supposed to get this video up yesterday, but it's been hectic with family visiting and stuff like that. Tonight I'm going to cover episode 4 and 5 of Big Brother 21, and we got a lot to talk about. We've got the veto competition to discuss, which was in episode 4. We discovered how this whole battle back exile island twist is going to work. There was a lot of turbulence in the alliances or alliance. It's kind of one main alliance, and there's a bunch. It's pretty big, so there's a lot of shenanigans going on, a lot of tensions. So we're going to talk about whether or not we think this alliance of 8 is even going to make it past like week 2 or 3, and yeah, we'll go from there on that. A lot of news on the showmance front. I think we have 3 potential showmances to go. Then of course we had after the veto competition, we had the campaigning as well as the vote. So it was our first like real eviction of the year. And then we got to see exactly what this camp comeback is all about, how that's going to work. All the kind of strings that are attached to that were pretty much revealed. Plus we had an entire HOH competition. So we're going to talk about who won and what that means for the rest of the house this week. Without further ado, thanks to everyone returning and any new viewers that have joined us. Thanks for checking it out. If you guys like this, like the video, cool. You guys see what's up there, just do that. I'm just going to dive in right now, though. So episode 4 started with Kemi and Bella, and they were really bonding, really close, which I think is really good for Kemi. I have not been a big fan of Kemi's for most of the season. I am a big fan of Bella, and as you guys could see up there, after Sunday's episode, we actually finally bumped Nick down, and Bella replaced her. That's due to her strong social game. So it's good news for any Kemi fans that she's bonding with Isabella. The start of episode 4, they were in that boat room, and they were talking showmances. And Bella was kind of breaking down who's eligible and who's not, for her specifically. So we were able to rule out Cliff and Sam. They're married, so obviously that's out. One thing interesting was she said Jack was like not at all her type, which is pretty cool, I guess, for ugly dudes like me. To see that, a pretty girl like Bella finds a super stud like Jack to not be her type. So there's hope for us yet. I am married. I'm going to stop talking now. I love you, sweetie. She's never going to watch that. We're fine. So Cliff and Sam are married. Jack, not hot. She actually really hates his hair. I'm not a big fan of long hair either. I mean, I got whatever shortish hair and I already feel too shaggy, like I need a haircut. So, and then she talked about Mickey, and then we kind of had the conversation was kind of half cut off. I rewound it to see what exactly she said, but she said something about like from here down. So I don't know if she thinks he's got like a nice body, but she's not a fan of his face and his square jaw. Then there was no mention on camera anyways of Ovi. It could have happened off camera. I'm not following any of the Big Brother After Dark. I'm not watching the live feeds or anything like that. So if any of you have seen any of that, let me know in the comments below if she did say anything about Ovi. I'm curious. Otherwise, she's like, so there's only one option left then, which is Nick Macaroni. So that's cool because those are actually my top 2 in the power rankings up there. So to see them bond together, I think they're gonna have two of the strongest social games in the house. He's very smart, and we're gonna get into this later, but he's really underplaying his competition prowess. But I do think he's gonna be a gamer. So to see those two power up, that's like my power couple of the season. That I think they're not going to be power couple in terms of just winning competitions, but I think they're really gonna run this game this summer. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. Christy kind of interrupted the whole thing and wanted to get a big Grateful Eight conversation going, but she was able to recruit most of the alliance upstairs into her room. I think Bella was the only one that didn't make it. And then they kind of shit-talked Bella a bit for being so close with Kemi. It was mostly driven by Jack, but they were not thrilled with the idea of Bella being so tight with someone outside the alliance. So, there's a little seed of tension that's getting planted. We'll see how that grows. Otherwise, we had Catherine, who was currently on the block, hitting on Mickey, to which Mickey responds to the camera, I guess in the diary room, I think it was, hell no to the showmance. Flash forward through the magic of television, and 2 seconds later, they're hooking up. So that's kind of showmance update number 2, is number 1, Bella and Mickey. Maybe something there. We did see Nick Macaroni. Oh, Mickey's no longer Jackson because it was too close to Jack, but now he's Mickey. It's too close to Nick, so I'm going to have troubles. Ugh, someone's got to go home. So, showmances. First one was Bella and Nick. Number 2 was Mickey and Catherine. Now, this Mickey and Catherine one is going to be trouble because Catherine is not in the Grateful Alliance. So, if he spends too much time, campaigning on her behalf within the Grateful Alliance, it's going to create tension for his game for sure. So, yeah, that is that. They hooked up. We had Christy, Annalise, and Holly watch their 3 a.m. flirt shenanigans on the HOH TV from their room. So while Mickey and Catherine were kind of flirting and hooking up in the kitchen / bathroom or whatever, Christy, Annalise, and Holly were watching to see what was going on. So that was interesting. They were not impressed by Catherine's antics, especially with the POV comp the next day. They expected her to, get a good night's sleep and be ready for your competition. But in any case, we had the POV competition. Obviously, we had the 2 nominees, which were joined by Sam, Jack, who was picked by Cliff. Cliff got a house guest choice, and he picked Jack. And his reasoning was to fight on my behalf. I don't like that idea. I don't think if Jack won, he would have had any obligation, social or otherwise, to pull Cliff down. I mean, from Jack's side, yes, he did want to backdoor Kemi, but I don't think Cliff knew that. So Cliff was picking someone who he thought could win the competition, but not necessarily someone that would pull him down. So a little curious about Cliff's understanding of that aspect of it. But then again, he might just have a closer bond with Jack than we've seen in the edits so far. Again, I'm not watching any of the after hours content. So if any of you guys have seen that, and you've seen Jack and Cliff bonding, let me know in the comments below. I am curious. We haven't seen it in any of the on-air footage, though. So Sam, Jack, and then Nicole was the 6th member for the POV competition. Big Brother 20 winner Casey came back to host. It was a slow motion catch the balls kind of game, which she won in her season. This was like a food fight themed one. I can't remember exactly what it was last year, but in any case, it was food was flying at them in high speed. Other shrapnel of food was getting blasted in their face as a distraction, and in the end, Sam won. So I was impressed to see a little bit of competition threat out of Sam. He beat Jack head to head in a veto competition. So you're getting bumped up in my books there, Sam. Good for you. After the competition, we had a little post-veto discussion, strategizing between Sam, the winner, and Jack and Nick. Now they got together to discuss veto plans. Sam really wanted to remove Cliff, so I wouldn't call it an alliance necessarily, but there's some sort of loyalty there. So Sam wanted to remove Cliff, but he didn't want to rock the boat of the house, right? Like if everybody's like, no, we need Cliff on there, we want Cliff to go home. Sam wasn't willing to totally stick his neck out on the line to do so, but he made it clear that if everyone's okay with that, he would really like to. So that was that conversation. Then we saw Jack, Mickey, and Christy discussing their hit list, their order of their hit list. This conversation was pretty loudly dictated by Jack. More on that in a minute. But Jack this was a strong episode for Jack. And I don't necessarily mean that in a good way. But what we did discover was that their target for week 1, this past week, they wanted Kemi gone. They wanted to backdoor Kemi. They wanted to bring Cliff down and put up Kemi and then send Kemi home. Jack's reason was hilarious. He says, we got to get rid of Kemi. She's just been playing this game too hard, too early. And it's like pot calling the kettle black, bro. Like, I thought Mickey was playing this game hard, but Jack is friggin' turned on the afterburners. He is going hard. So their 3 in order was Kemi this week, Jessica next week, Ovi in week 3. We can get into their motivations, but whatever. It is what it is. They're kind of bullshit reasons anyways. Christy was not thrilled with how pushy Jack was being, right? It was Christy's HOH, and she felt like Jack's not coming at me with his opinion or his... there was not any sort of like tact to the way he was talking. It was just basically like, this is what we're doing. We're going to get rid of this one first, and then this one, and then that one. And you're HOH this week, Christy, but it's your duty as part of our alliance to do what's right, and you've got to send Kemi home. And Christy was like, whoa, dude, like, let me just think about it. She kind of played along, like, to his face, but then, in her diary room interviews later, she was not thrilled with how strong Jack was playing her. After that, we saw Nick and Bella, showman's power couple, hanging out in the hammock. Bella voiced her opinion to Nick, saying that, like, I really hope we can keep Kemi because, I'm starting to bond with her and blah, blah, blah. So, obviously, Nick wants to keep Bella happy. So he says, well, I'll go talk to Christy for you, and I'll kind of see where her head's at. And this is exactly why I had Nick Macaroni ranked so high early, is because unlike Jack, who comes on strong and says, you've got to do this, you're an idiot if you don't, blah, blah, blah. Nick is smart, and he's going to go in and he's going to do some Inception-style dream magic and just very subtly, like, plant the seed of, like, whatever, right? And then let Christy come to the conclusion that Nick wants, but let Christy think that she's coming to that decision on her own. It's a very strong social tactic to play. So it was nice to start to see that come out. It was really our first glimpse into Nick's social game in that regards this season. So he definitely did plant the seed of doubt on whether or not backdooring Kemi was the right idea. Christy and Jack then have a discussion where Christy's like, I don't know if I really want to backdoor Kemi. And Jack pushed back hard. He came at, he was coming hard earlier in the day. But once she told him, hey, just so you know, I don't know if I really want to do this Kemi plan anymore. And it was like fire in his eyes, steam out the ears. He was fucking pushing hard. Excuse my language. So he came at her hard, and she started to break down. She was worried. She didn't know what to do. So she went to the POV winner, Sam, before he had a chance to use it. And basically, she wanted to talk with him about, I think she wanted to convince him not to use it, right? Because if he doesn't use it, then the whole put Kemi up, well, it's out of her hands. Sam didn't use it, so it is what it is, right? But of course, Sam kind of countered with, well, I really want to bring Cliff down. And then they kind of had a dialogue back and forth about, well, who could we do as a replacement and all this. Christy kind of opened up. It was a hard episode for her, but she opened up, kind of broke down a little bit in front of Sam when they were having their one-on-one. And just kind of vented about how pushy Jack was being. Now, if you guys remember Nick's big blunder from Sunday, I think it was, where he let slip the idea of there being an 8 in a room where Ovi was present. This was way worse. Christy blew this. She when she's venting about Jack being so pushy, she used the words group. Right? She's like, is that what the group wants? Or something like that. And red alarm bells went off in my head. And then sure enough, red alarm bells went off in Sam's head. And Sam definitely cued in on this and was like, what group is she talking about? There's some sort of alliance that Sam's not aware of. Christy's a part of it, right? Sam had a different reaction than Ovi, though. Ovi was very, on the offense of, all right, if there's an alliance, I'm not a part of it. I got to make my own alliance. Let's go. Sam, on the other hand, was more defensive in his reaction. It was, oh crap, there's an alliance. I'm not a part of it. I don't want to be under the radar. Can I do something that won't upset that alliance that I'm not a part of? Kind of a bitch move, but that's all right. It's not necessarily a bad strategy. Just, it's interesting to see the two different reactions to a similar spill the beans, cat out of the bag. Got those two kind of combined in my head there. Anyways, Christy actually reveals that, I can't remember if she revealed this to Sam or not, but she definitely revealed it to the camera, if nothing else, that she was actually considering putting up Jack. It was kind of if you want to push this hard, I'll show you kind of thing, right? Which, again, is why you can't play this game so ferociously, especially that early. I don't think that bodes well for Jack. I'm worried about him. So Christy's considering Jack and Ovi. Eventually, we have the veto ceremony. Sam brings Cliff down, and Ovi does go up. So Ovi's the replacement. Interesting wrinkle here, Ovi has that nightmare power. However, the nightmare power must happen the night of the nominations. So even though it could save him, it can't save him if he's ever backdoored, such as we saw this week. The only other real insight we got before the end of the episode was that Jack was pissed that it wasn't Kemi. He had a few words to say as the credits were rolling, but long story short, not happy. Not happy with how things went down. He wasn't happy with Christy. Just not thrilled. Okay, so that was kind of episode 4. Sorry if this is being a long episode, guys. I don't know. I might have to refigure out this format. Let me know in the comments or send me a message on Instagram or whatever. I think we're already at like 20 minutes and we're only one episode in. So let's just get into episode 5 and we'll see what we're doing for time. We might have to adjust the format for next week. So, episode 5. We just saw at the end of episode 4, Ovi was the replacement nominee. Now it's time to watch him campaign, right? Former student body president or whatever it was. It's time to see those skills in action. Now the big question was, we know David's coming back at the end of this episode. What does that mean? How does it work? How long is this twist going to play out through the season? Is this a 2 or 3 week twist? Is this a 10-week twist? You know what I mean? So we got all those answers tonight, or during this episode, I should say. This episode aired 2-3 days ago now. But episode started with Christy basically went to Ovi and Catherine individually and basically lied to both of them and told each one of them that the other person was the target. So she went to Catherine, said, "Don't worry, you're just the pawn." Went to Ovi, "Don't worry, you're just the pawn." I actually like this. I don't like it in that it makes me cringe. And it only makes me cringe because Catherine claimed to be such a genuine, heartfelt person. Which is fine, right? Like, it's a game. And I don't mind when they lie to each other, right? I have absolutely no problem with with Christy going to Catherine and saying, "Look, Catherine, nobody wants you to go home. You're totally safe this week. Ovi's the real target. We love you. I'm so sorry about this, but don't worry, you're safe. Thanks for trusting me." And then going to Ovi and telling him the exact same thing, right? All the fake tears. I have no problem with that. But then don't go to the diary room and cry to the camera about how you're such a genuine person and this is just tearing you apart inside. Like, it's game to fool the other house guests, for sure. High five Christy all day long. But be honest with yourself and be honest with us. Like, that's what makes me cringe, okay? An episode or two ago, Christy really played "oh, I'm such a nice person and this is tearing me apart to do this, but I'm in a bad situation and I just have to do it," right? But no, you're just two-faced and you're a good liar and there's nothing to be ashamed about. This is a game. My hat's off to you. But own it. Don't own it to the house, right? Hide that that's your thing. But own it to us, right? Go to the diary room and say, "Oh man, I feel bad lying to them, but hey, this is just a game. I gotta do what I gotta do. Gotta feed the family." You know what I mean? So that was that. She sold it really well, though. Both nominees bought it hook, line, and sinker. We saw 2 different tactics. Ovi went into campaign mode, and Catherine went into freaking paranoia mode. So I will say, as a comedian, I appreciated Ovi's sense of humor and his wit. When he talked about going into campaign mode, he said something along the lines of first stop on the campaign trail, Jacksonville. And then he went and talked to Jackson. That's a good, solid pun, right? The rest of them didn't really work. I mean, it was "Oh, we're going to Kemi Station in the town of Nicole." And I was that was bad. I realized there may not be a town that works with a pun. Jacksonville was great, but we didn't need the rest of these little silly titles for your campaign stops. Otherwise, I like the strategy of going and campaigning. More on that in a second. Oh, my eye is so itchy. I don't know what happened. Oh, my God. Brutal. All right. Catherine, much different strategy. Her strategy was, I want to say she wanted to come across in like she clearly had some insecurities that she was dealing with in this episode. Obviously, you guys saw it, or you wouldn't be watching this video right now. But her tactic all episode long seemed to be, are you bitches conspiring against me? And like, I do think that she intended it to come across as like a silly way of like masking her insecurities. Obviously, she was feeling like she's on the block. She's afraid to go home. That's totally normal, right? And she tried to play it off with a cute, like, oh, are you conspiring against me? Ha ha ha, whatever, right? And I think that would have worked if she had done it like once or twice, or like once to each group of people, right? Like going to this room, are you bitches conspiring against me? You know, a couple hours later in another room, like, okay, yeah, use the same joke, whatever. But like we saw a cut up reel from the producers, and I don't know how much we saw, how much of it was like camera tricks, but it seemed like she said, are you conspiring against me? Dozens of times tonight, which was not good. I think by the fourth or fifth, that's not a real word. By the fourth or fifth time, she says to the same group of people in a few hour span, are you conspiring against me? I think everybody really started to kind of get fed up with it. It was actually quite funny by the end, though, to see Sam say it. I can't remember the exact context, but Sam comes into one of the rooms and he goes, are you guys conspiring against me? I think he said it to Catherine, and that was good comedy, okay? No, the producers of this show did a great job establishing a pattern of Catherine saying it over and over and over and over and over. And then the punchline twist was watching Sam say it back to her. And it was just, that was comedy gold. It was a little nugget, but it was just great, clean writing. Oh, I loved it. Then we saw some more showmance action. This was, I don't even know if showmance is the right word. This is like me overreacting and overthinking things here. But we saw 4 people like kind of double 69'd in a hammock. So like a guy and a girl at one end and then a guy and a girl at the other end, kind of whatever. And it was all just a big like warm cuddle fest of whatever. But we saw Annalise and Jack. There was like an arm around each other situation. So I mean, I don't want to get too carried away here, but we'll see if there's anything there tomorrow night, Sunday. The other couple, and this one is a little more interesting, was Mickey and Holly were cuddled up in that same pretzel 69 on the hammock. So this takes place after we already saw him and Catherine making out. Not only did we see it, but Holly saw it too. So Holly sees them. Well, I don't know if she saw them making out, but she definitely saw them flirting at 3 a.m. going from the bathroom or going from the kitchen to the bathroom and whatever. And whatever, she's in there cuddling up with Mickey. So I mean, whatever, cuddle's just a cuddle. It can be innocent. There's not necessarily anything wrong with cuddling more than one person, but whatever, to each his own. So we'll see if anything buds there. That's a lot less trouble for Mickey because at least Holly's in his alliance, right? So if we could see in this alliance, this Grateful 8 alliance, if we can see all of them couple up, that'll be interesting. So far we've got Nick Macaroni and Bella. That's my number 1 couple. Then if we also saw Mickey and Holly, and then if we saw Jack and Annalise, that's 6 of our 8. That only leaves Christy and Tommy without a showmance within this Grateful 8. But they have the strong ties of knowing each other from off the show and being sort of family members, I guess you'd call it. So interesting to see how that would shake out if everyone inside the Grateful Eight had a stronger, ride or die or whatever you want to call it. So we'll see. Back to the campaign trail. Ovi's talking with Jack and Mickey, and he's asking for their vote. Oh, no, wait. How'd this start with? First, he goes to Nick. And Nick is basically like, man, like, you don't have the numbers. Like, you're going home. It was just, like, real with him. I don't know how to read into that right now, but he was real with Ovi. He says, look, you don't have the numbers. Ovi's kind of shocked by this. And he's like, oh, well, I've been hearing... I thought I did have the numbers. Like, I thought I was pretty good. Because, remember, at this point, he thinks he's still got his Fab Five alliance with Christy, Jack, Mickey. I think Annalise was the fifth. I'd have to go back and check. Anyway, so he's kind of thunderstruck by this idea. So he goes to Jack and Mickey, and he makes a big play. Doesn't work out, but he makes the big play of revealing that he does have the nightmare power. And he says exactly what the nightmare power was. He didn't hold anything back. He didn't keep any secret details for himself. He tells them, I can pull any two people down that I want. And he points out, like, you guys are going to be big targets. I promise I'll use it on you next week. Now, all he said was next week. So does that mean by week 3 if they were put up? Or is he off the hook? It was an interesting way he worded that. So anyways, that's that. More on that nightmare power in a bit. Mickey was impressed, and his eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas. Jack wanted it, like, as soon as Ovi was gone, they thanked, okay, thanks, whatever, thanks, we'll consider it, blah, blah, blah. So Ovi leaves. Jack wants to send Ovi home immediately. And his motivations, okay, we know who has this nightmare power. This is our opportunity to get rid of it. Let's get rid of it. Mickey, on the other hand, he was so hungry for that safety next week. He wanted that guaranteed safety. And this is where we started to see this Grateful Eight maybe show some cracks. I mean, like, officially. Mickey even said, I think it's naive to think that the Grateful Eight lasts to the final 8. So, I don't know. He goes on to say, if Kemi, Jessica, Nicole, or if anyone on that side of the house won, that they would take their shot, certainly at either probably Jack or Mickey. Anyways, so we have the vote. The vote's unanimous. Every single person in the house votes for Ovi to send Ovi home. Julie comes on and says, say your goodbyes, blah, blah, blah. And then as he's saying his goodbyes, blah, 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 Camp Comeback is revealed. So Julie says, everyone sit down. Ovi, please put your mic back on. So he does. He can't figure out what's going on. We figure out exactly what Camp Comeback is, and we're going to dive into it right now. Camp Comeback is basically, if you guys watch Survivor, it's basically the exile island of Big Brother now. We've seen battle back competitions before where house guests get voted off, then they're sequestered for like a month. Once 5 or 6 are all evicted, then they all come back for like one battle back competition. One person re-enters, the other 5, your season's actually over. But what's different about it this year, and I'm really interested to see how this affects the social game and everything, is that they're not just going to be sequestered at a hotel somewhere, whatever. They're going to be living inside the Big Brother house, which is really cool. So Julie did clarify that they are like officially out of the game, which means they don't participate in challenges. So they won't be participating in HOH or POV or the Wactivity comp or anything. So I guess if someone gets evicted Like if Jessica gets evicted next week, and then she was supposed to compete in the Wactivity comp in week 3, she'd be ineligible. So they would just do the Wactivity comp with 4 people instead of 5. They also don't participate in the ceremonies, so I don't know if that means they won't even be like present when the nominations are made or when the veto is used. Like I don't know why it would be a big deal that they couldn't see it. Now we saw they weren't allowed to watch the HOH. They were allowed to listen to it on the radio, which is just kind of a gimmicky, let's show how bad their camp is because they live on crappy beds and they don't have a TV, they only have a radio. But I don't know what advantage you would get from seeing the competition versus just listening to it. I mean, they do live in the house, so anything that happens, they're going to hear about, right? And the same thing kind of goes for the ceremonies. Like, I don't understand why they wouldn't be able to at least sit there during the ceremony. The only thing that happens is the HOH names 2 names. Like, there isn't really a visual element. It isn't a group discussion. It's just the HOH comes on, they show the 2 names, they give their reason, and that's it. Meeting adjourned. So, like, what is the impact of not being able to sit there? I mean, it just seems like a kind of a pointless gimmick to say, well, just go upstairs while we do this. Oh, but you can still listen. Like, I don't know. So we'll see, I guess, how it goes on Sunday. In any case, they're not a vote in any of the evictions, so that one's pretty obvious. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to be campaigning or planting seeds or whatever. Just, I guess, hanging out in the kitchen and waiting. Like, I don't know how the social game is going to work with this. It'll be very interesting to see, though. They do have the cabin upstairs. It's very uncomfortable. It's no TV, only radio. And the beds are all like, they look like bed bug infested and kind of crooked and broken down. There's like no sheets or blankets. But in any case, they will continue to play the social game. They will be there 24/7 until the Camp Comeback Challenge, which I think, yeah, Julie said that there's going to be 4 competing and only 1 will return. So we've seen the first 2. First 2 are David, who came back to night 2. He's back in the house. So now he's up in Camp Comeback. So we've got We've got David and Ovi, and we're going to have 2 more. So the next 2 evictions will get a second chance this Camp Comeback, which is interesting. And then the other 3 are gone for good. And then I guess I have to assume that the rest of the way will be pretty standard fare Big Brother. We had the HOH competition. Spoiler alert, Jack won. What I was impressed with was two takeaways that I had from the HOH competition. It was not a physical competition. It was pattern recognition. It was like math and puzzles, right? Pay attention to this sequence of fireworks. You know, how many was the most color? Or what color was the how many of whatever? What was the third thing that happened after this, right? I was not expecting Jack to win any of those competitions. I thought he would be the endurance or the speed or the power competitions. I thought those would be his. I did not expect something that was purely mental to be something he won. There's a lot of really smart people in the house, and I didn't see him winning. The other thing I did take away, on the second question of the night, Nick Macaroni went out. Every single person got the first question right. Every single person got the second question right, except Macaroni. Macaroni got it wrong, and he went home. Now, I'm sure just like me, everybody at home is playing the game too. Second question was still pretty easy. I got the first 2 correct, no problem. I was surprised to see Nick got it wrong, and then I thought, no, this makes total sense. He wants nothing to do with winning. He wants nothing to do with any blood on his hands. He knows, like, as long as he plays things even keel, if he doesn't come on too strong, if he doesn't show that he's a threat, right? He's got the two meat shields of Mickey and Jack in front of him if someone from the other side of the house wins, right? They're going to target those two before they target Nick. And he knows that if anyone in his Grateful Eight alliance wins, well, he's in that alliance, so they're going to target someone on the other side of the house anyways. So Nick is really well protected right now. He does not have to start winning competitions for a few weeks at this point. So throwing the competition on the second question, really strong strategy on his part. So interesting to see that. And that's kind of all we had for those last two episodes. I think we're at like the 30-minute mark for this. So we're going to wrap up. I'm going to reveal my updated power rankings. And then we're going to just kind of look at the week ahead. So tomorrow night, we've got Sunday's episode. We're going to have the Whacktivity competition. And the HOH is going to make their nominees for the week. So we'll see the two people that get nominated. We've got Jack as the HOH. So I'm predicting right now that we're either going to have Kemi nominated or for sure be the backdoor target. But I think Kemi's going up. Now, he was not thrilled with the Kemi-Bella alliance. But he's not dumb enough to put up Bella because that would send shockwaves through his 8. So I think his 8 are going to be 100% safe this week. I think it's going to be Kemi, Jessica as the nominees. Like, I think that's... Jessica was his second target. How did that work? He wanted Kemi gone week 1, then he wanted Jessica, then he wanted Ovi. Ovi's already gone. So that's a pretty obvious... I mean, the only twist there is he might want to backdoor one of them, but I don't know why he would bother. I think it's just going to be Kemi and Jessica being nominated, unless shit goes down and he's pissed off. Because we've seen how hard he plays, so he might throw like a hate nomination at Christy, just as like a, wrench in the machine kind of thing. I don't think that'll happen. I think it's going to be Kemi and Jessica. That's who I think. Maybe if Mickey and Catherine continue their showmance and Jack isn't happy about that, I also wouldn't be surprised if he nominates Catherine just as whoa, like we got someone, cavorting with someone outside the alliance. We got to nip this in the bud. Catherine, you're going home. I don't know. I could see that more of a backdoor option. So I do think my prediction for tomorrow night, Kemi, Jessica, you're on the block. So that's Sunday. I am going to be back on my regular schedule next week for video production. So Monday night, I'm going to do a recap. I'm going to try and get it up earlier in the day. But Monday, we're going to do a recap of tomorrow night, Sunday's episode. And then Big Brother is back to their normal summer schedule the rest of the way now. So instead of being Tuesdays and Wednesdays, they're going to be Wednesdays and Thursdays through the rest of the season. And I'm going to be back every Friday to recap those two midweek episodes. So Wednesday, we've got the POV, and then Thursday, another eviction. So if you guys stuck it out for the last 4 hours or however long this video turned out to be, thank you so much for checking this out. Whole reason I do this is because I don't have anyone in my social group who actually watches Big Brother. So I have no one to talk to about. I have nobody wants to hear me complain or talk strategy or showmances or anything like that. So thanks for just watching. If you guys made it this far, comment down below. Let me know who you think's getting nominated tomorrow night. Or let me know on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I'll follow back. We can hang out. My Instagram is Inches Gaming. I also have my stand-up comedy Instagram as well. That's Inches Comedy. Don't worry about following that. Follow Inches Gaming. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe if you really liked it. And hit that bell to turn notifications on if you thought it was really, really ridiculously good looking. That's a Zoolander joke. But no, I'm having fun doing this. Again, sorry this episode was a day and a half late getting published. It was just a hectic, long weekend there with the Canada Day and stuff like that. But I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Just to see, 10, 20 people are watching it. That's really cool. Big Brother has always been one of my guilty pleasures. Um, People always make fun of me when I say that I like reality TV. It is definitely a guilty pleasure. Um, One caveat: I don't like reality TV that is like just people hanging out. I like the game show reality TV like Big Brother. Let me know what you guys think. If I'm just totally off my rocker here with this, I don't like Keeping Up with the Kardashians or Vanderpump Rules or any of those ones. I like the ones where it's like a 3 month long game show. You know, we get to know the contestants. We kind of know what the rules are every year, right? It's almost like a sport in that regard. You know, I don't like the reality shows that are love based. Like, I'm not a big fan of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, or Love and Sex Island, or whatever they call them, right? I don't like them when that's the goal of the game is to find true love. I think that's bullshit. But when the goal of the game is money, and like I'm all in on the showmances, obviously. So it's not like I'm against that. I just like that to be like a secondary aspect of the game, not the target of the game itself. Um, so yeah, I am enjoying doing this. I'm doing Big Brother right now. I'll do it all summer long. Then this fall, we're gonna get a new season of Survivor, and I fully intend to keep this going with the new season of Survivor. And then once Survivor shuts down, we're gonna have to find something new to talk about. So maybe RuPaul's Drag Race or the Challenge on MTV or something. I don't know. But if you guys keep that in mind, we're definitely going to be busy through the summer with Big Brother, through the fall with Survivor for another 13, 14 weeks. But keep in mind, I need something to do after that. We're going to have probably, I would assume, Celebrity Big Brother coming up in the new year. But we'll see. I don't really want to have this series on my YouTube channel shut down for a couple months, right? So if we've got a week down or a week here, a week there, that's where we're shutting down, that's fine. But let me know what you guys are into watching. Again, comment in the comments or send me a message on Instagram. I'm pretty active there. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. Give me feedback if you think it sucks, if these episodes are way too long. Let me know. I feel like I'm a run-on sentence, so you guys want me to edit it down, I might, but definitely give me feedback. Let me know what you think, because, yeah, I enjoy this, and if you've watched it this far, you must enjoy it a little bit too. So that's cool. I'm glad we can hang out and talk Big Brother. Before we go, last thing we got to do now, we got to check out the updated power rankings. So let's have a look now. We've got, who do we move around? Okay, so we bumped Ovi down. Last week we had Ovi ranked in the final 5. We thought he was going to go far because of that nightmare power that we got. Unfortunately, he was backdoored and sent home, or sent to Camp Comeback. So he's getting bumped down to the... Let me see everything. I'll just do it at this end. He's getting bumped down to the early evictions. I know he's not officially evicted yet, right? But yeah, he's down there for now. I just had an epiphany on something, some math of how these numbers are going to shake down. I'm going to get into that after tomorrow's episode, though. But it does have something to do with a bigger twist for the end of the season that, yeah, we'll see. I'm interested. Yeah, we'll talk about it next episode for sure. I'm going to write it down as soon as this video is done. But Ovi bumped down to early evictions, which means we had to bump someone up. I bumped Catherine up. Reason being, I still think Kemi and Jessica are going to be the targets this week. Whoever doesn't go home, probably going to be the target the next week. And then I think, just like statistically speaking, someone in the minority side of the house has to win. And they have to put someone up from the alliance, because they're going to clue in and they're going to not just keep picking off their own side, right? And I think the first one that's going to go home is going to be Mickey. I really do. That's the only reason Mickey's ahead of Catherine, because I do think if Grateful 8 continues to keep rolling, I think Catherine's going to go home before Mickey and before like the Sams and the Cliffs and the Nicoles of the house. But in any case, that's kind of my logic there. The winner and the runner-up, I think they just solidified their spots in the top 2 in the power rankings, but neither one really did anything to move up or down relative to each other. So that's the order they're staying in. I do like Macaroni to win it all, but he didn't do enough this episode to really dethrone Bella. So for now, he's still in the runner-up spot. But I do like the 2 of those going forward. I think if the 2 of them do make the final 2, so far Bella's continuing to really have that strong social game. So she's going to steal a lot of votes. Tommy, obviously, is still in the final 5. I can't vision a point. Like, I can't picture a scenario where he goes home. That's why he's in the final 5. Everyone else in the house, basically, I can picture some scenario where they go home. But I can't picture him. I don't know. Things will change. But for now, that's why he's there. And he hasn't moved since episode 1. Joining him, though, in the final 5, we've got Nicole re-entering the final 5 spot. Here's my reasoning with Nicole. You know what? We're going to get into Christy first, and then we're going to touch on Nicole, because I think Nicole's more interesting. So Christy, I think, is going to make the final 5 because of her connection with Tommy. So unless some drama blows that whole family dynamic apart, the house doesn't know their family, so that's an extra layer on the stability of that duo, right? Because I think Tommy's going to get so far, and we've already seen Christy play really well. Yes, she had an emotional breakdown, but she's a very strong, very smart player, and she is a phenomenal two-faced liar. I mean that in the best way. I sincerely do, okay? But I think she's playing a really good game. I don't see her being a target until after the 2 meatheads in that Grateful 8 have been eliminated. And I think that her connection with Tommy is going to be a strong one going forward. Now, let's get into Nicole, okay? Earlier this week, we heard Mickey, Jack, Christy talking about the order of their targets. We also heard, even earlier this week, Nick's big blunder when he was talking about their kind of targets or whatever. And in neither case was Nicole listed as an early target, okay? The early targets for the Grateful 8 have consistently been the people I have pegged for early eviction, which is Kemi, Jessica, and so on, right? So they want those guys gone first, which means the longer Nicole stays, the better it means for her game, okay? Because if she's not one of the first 2 gone on her non-Grateful 8 side of the house, we're just going to call it the minority from now on. So if Nicole's not one of the first few targets in the minority, it just prolongs her chances to survive to the point where the minority wins an HOH. At which point, Jack, Mickey, those guys are going home, okay? If they're going home, again, it means she's not going home. That means we've got probably at least another month and a half before Nicole even sees the block. If we get that far in the game and she hasn't seen the block, we're gonna start getting really close to the competitions that are a lot more like intellectual and stuff like that. And I do think that is where her strength in the game is going to be. If she can make it past the halfway mark, I really think she's going to have a strong end game. I think the challenge is just getting there. But, as I said, she's not an early target for the Grateful 8. That's it. We already broke down the math on how I think this is going to shake down. So, let's end it there. You guys are the real troopers. We've already kind of called it quits on this video twice now. I think we're almost at the hour mark. So if you guys have still stuck it out this far, you're the real heroes. Okay? Have fun tomorrow night with Big Brother episode 6. And then, yeah, come back in 2 days and we're going to do another recap. That one's going to be way shorter. Again, sorry guys, this one's double length because I had the 2 episodes to recap. I'm still streamlining it. But I for sure appreciate your feedback. So let me know in the comments below at the very least if these are too long, if you want me to just do something quicker, if I should just jump to the power rankings, if I should skip the recap and just talk about, analysis of what I think it all means. Let me know. I appreciate the feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, like it if you like it, subscribe if you really liked it, and hit that bell if you really, really ridiculously liked it.